Welcome in, Tauruses. How are you all doing? We are into November already. Isn't that crazy? So we are doing your monthly November 2024 tarot reading today. So I ask my higher dimensional guides and source to provide information and guidance that is for your highest and best good, for you to know in this now moment and to help you again, gain some awareness about the month. Really, I say tarot's not about just, looking in the future and getting some psychic information, what's going to happen. Really, tarot is a tool for you to gain some awareness or gain guidance to help you, support you in your path. Support you in, again, how do we approach our situations in our life or approach life in general to, again, stay on our highest path and to gain the most of this physical reality, to attract and manifest the things that align with us, but also to help us approach situations for the outcome to be the best and highest good for all. So it's not about, and that's key, what I just said there. Life isn't about, as humans, right? We are viewing life, we are interpreting our external world and gaining insight into our needs and desires based on our past. So, our past, our emotions, our thoughts are all filters that are, giving us in guidance about, oh, this is what I want. This is the direction I want to go, or how do I want to respond to things? And the best way to approach situations is, hey, we don't always necessarily know what is in our best and highest good for the long term or even short term. So most of us say, hey, I want this specific person. I want to be in a relationship with this person, and I want us to get married, and I want it to be them. Or, I want, in my head, this is what I want as far as a job, career, and that's the only thing I'm accepting. But again, what is the root to what's driving you, to more motivating you to want that? And, the best way to approach life is, yes, we definitely want to identify those things that we really want. We want, what goals we want, what we want to accomplish, who we want to be with. But a lot of times we are in situations that aren't in our best and highest good, and yet we still keep trying and forcing and trying to control the outcome to be what we think we want, when in reality, the path that we're headed on and that we keep fighting to go down, the universe is saying, hey, again, the universe and your higher self is always going to lead you correctly. It's always going to lead you to the easiest outcome for yourself and for others. It's going to guide you towards what's for your best and highest good. And when we follow that higher path, what I call the higher path, that's like our highest potentiality. And on that path, you are going to bring in the best and in align with, healing, with health, with abundance, love, happiness, things like that. But usually when we're not on that path, it's because we are being led by, again, things from our past, like our trauma, our heartache, again, programs or beliefs that were ingrained in us by our families, our society, our cultures, religions, all those things. So that's a big ball of wax to get into. And what's interesting is I didn't have this conversation with any of the other signs. So for some reason, this was meant to come out for you guys. You guys were meant to hear this. So, we're going to dive in here. Month of November, see what's going on. We're wrapping up 2024. This year has been really big. It's been big because it's preparing us for 2025. And we can say that every year, but 2025 is going to be different than prior years in the fact that those outer planets, the planets that are farther away from Earth, are actually all going to be changing signs. And that is really big because those outer planets move a lot slower. So they don't move change signs that often. So for example, Pluto, which is the farthest away, that you've probably, again, if you watch my channel, you know that I talk about this a lot because it's big. Pluto has been in Capricorn since 2008. So Pluto will stay in a sign anywhere from like 18 to 20 years. And Capricorn and Pluto do not play well together. They are not on the same page. And there's a lot of conflict there. There's also a lot of karmic energy there. So you could say like since 2008, it's been, there's been a lot of resistance, a lot of chaos, destruction of systems, organizations, things that, again, are not built on things that are for our highest good or that are for the highest good of the collective. So all that's been being kind of brought down. And you could look at what happened in 2008, right? Right as Capricorn moves, or Pluto moves into Capricorn, the whole financial crisis happens, right? Because Pluto is revealing as well, revealing things about these structures that are not good. And a lot of times we see destruction or an ending of something as bad, but it's because it wasn't good for us. It wasn't built on something stable, strong, aligned with source. And again, the intention for all those organizations and structures are not in the highest good of the collective. And we saw that on such a global economic level. So November, big month, because Capricorn finally, it kind of was dipping in and out of Aquarius this year, but it's finally moving into Aquarius for good on November 19th, and it will be in Aquarius for, I think, 20 years. So you're going to feel that, Taurus. And so let's get started. I know I did a lot of talking there, but I think that was some good lead up to the reading. So I'm using the Time Traveler's Oracle, which I love. And we're going to just get some foundational energies for you, Taurus, for November. So Chaos, Vesuvius, Italy came out. Vast Vistas, the Nomads, Steppes of Mongolia. Life Force Energy, the Maasai in Africa. So Taurus, to me this would indicate with the Chaos card that you've been through some chaos in some way in your life. And this could be what you've been going through or what's been happening in the past. I feel there's a lot of chaos as well internally, some chaos and conflict I'm hearing in regards to, again, clearing out. You see the volcano. There's like a clearing out of more internal energies, emotions, things that you've been holding on to for a long time, Taurus. Very unconscious. But this stuff is coming out. And the only thing you can really do is allow it, surrender to the process, and just flow with and allow it to play itself out. You could kind of see it as the volcano, letting it erupt, allowing it to, do its thing. But on the other side of this chaos, it creates this freedom and expansion energetically for you, spiritually. It frees you from a lot of stuff has been really chaotic, that I think for a lot of you that you didn't realize that this stuff was stuck, that was still impacting you. And this could be stuff that, ties back to childhood or even past lives. But it's expanding you, because a big theme I'm seeing for a lot of signs in November is that what you've been going through has been clearing out this density to allow you to be in a new energetic dimensional place, for you to prepare for what's on the other side, which I feel like starts in December and then really amps up in 2025. And look at for you, Taurus, on the other side too. You get the chaos, you get the clearing and the freedom and like the liberation from this stuff. And then all of a sudden, this life force energy can now flow through you in a new way. And it's bringing in and aligning you with things that are going to reflect, right, align with that same energetic level that you're at, which you're kind of leveling up. And I know that's pretty big, right? We're talking big. This isn't, some of you might be tuning in and saying, well, I just want to know about, you know, something going on in my life right now. But, you know, especially my channel, right? I'm speaking, my readings are really high level because that is what the root of everything that's happening in our life or has happened. Really the root of why we're here and what's happening to us all, again, is rooted in higher dimensional aspects, in our higher consciousness, in things that we can't even, you know, wrap our heads around. And I'm really trying to help bridge the gap between that high level in the physical reality for you out there. So I really like this, Taurus. I really like this. It feels really good. I love this feeling of this, like, this movement. It's almost like that chaos is what is moving you to this new life force energy. So let's get more. We'll see, maybe this might delve more into the details of the physical reality. But today I'm going to do a different spread than you've seen. I'm going to do the standard Celtic cross spread. It's a pretty standard, old school, traditional spread. So we're going to try it out. So let's see here. I'm going to lay down the cards and then I'll speak to them. Look at that. First card out, Death. Don't be scared, Taurus. That is the card of change and transformation, which is exactly what I explained right there. Oh, yeah, that's reverse. We got a reversal here. Another one. Jeez. I didn't know that I had reversals, but we're going to go with them today. I don't like specifically like put reversals in my, when I'm doing readings, but for some reason from a higher level, sometimes when you're shuffling, things get turned around. So there's definitely some reversals here. I feel like there is some resistance. And I explained this to some other signs, especially with the Celtic cross, like, you know, you do kind of go from the first card out would be your current situation, and then you end up in the outcome. But if you're interested in learning tarot or understanding how it works, sometimes in spreads, you kind of want to say, what are things that initially just jump out at you? And sometimes you have to start at the end and read and get back to the beginning for some reason. So we have a lot of reversals here in the kind of the side of like the future and the outcome and things like that. I do feel like there's some resistance. Like I said, you have two aces here in reverse. Okay, the wands and the swords, and then you have the page of swords. So you definitely have been resisting some sort of new beginning, Taurus. Resisting kind of something that's really sparking your passion and desire. I feel like your soul's trying to really ignite something, and I feel like you're kind of in denial about it, or you're trying to ignore that because I guess there's a reason here, right? Part of it could be that to kind of acknowledge this and go towards this and start this new path or this new beginning, you have to have some sort of communication with somebody, and you don't want to have it. This could be also, these two cards here is kind of resisting you speaking your truth. You're withholding truth. You're not allowing yourself, it's like you're feeling it. I definitely feel like you're feeling this chaos, and I feel like part of that eruption is because you have not been living in alignment with your true authentic self. And a big theme for November for everyone is it's kind of this, I'm calling it radical honesty, or radical authenticity is kind of the theme for November. And if wherever in your life that you're not being authentic, where you're not aligning with how you feel or your truth, November is going to really, the energies are going to force you to face your truth. And a lot of times that means that we have to express that in some way. We have to communicate that. And it's usually to somebody or groups or our work or our families. So that is definitely for you. You have been resisting this. You're feeling it build up. And part of it, you've kind of been trying to suppress this, but you can't do that anymore. This chaos card. The volcano is going to erupt whether you like it or not. And the volcano erupts, you know, it's going to be worse if you really continue to try and repress this. The more repression you've done and the longer you do that, the outcome is going to be worse, right? The eruption is going to be worse. And then you have the outcome here as the moon. So this is really, you know, the outcome is, to me, a lot of repressed, unconscious things finally being able to be cleared. So it's the same outcome that's aligned with this Life Force Energy card. It's almost like it's time that your higher self, your guides are really forcing you to go. It's almost like a deep cleaning before the winter, right? It's like, nope, we're getting down into the dark corners of your unconsciousness, of your soul, and whatever's in there that is, again, density, things that we haven't worked through, trauma, anything like that. It's wanting to come up to the surface. And part of that is, you know, again, radical honesty, really looking at these things, finally, facing the truth. That's the other thing here. I feel like with some of you, it's facing some sort of truth that you haven't wanted to face. Okay, so let's go back to the beginning. So we have the current situation as the Death card. So either you are kind of, again, resisting going through some major transformation. This could be you're being faced with a major change in your life and you don't like it, right? You're holding on to the old. It scares you, this change. It could also be an ending to something that's been going on a long time with this Ten of Swords. So, or sorry, the Ten of Wands. And this Ten of Wands is the challenge card, right? So the challenge is all the burdens, the pains, the responsibilities that you've been carrying kind of more energetically for a long, long time. It's like we need to finally address this stuff. And like, this is a lot of energy that's been, you know, you've been carrying physically. And this could be coming out too as some sort of like physical issue or health issue or even like back pain. It's manifesting and it's coming up too. So you need to overcome this something you've been doing for a long time that it's like, it's time. It's just not, it's never worked for you. It's not going to work anymore. And it's kind of like the universe is saying, you're not moving forward in this anymore. You need change. So it's accepting this death, this transformation. What you need to focus on, the Judgment card here, and that's really kind of like a crossroads. So you really need to focus on, like, to me, listening, intuitively connecting, and going really deep to listen to yourself, listen to your intuition, to hear the call and the messages that are coming in, because I feel like you're really going to be guided through this change. And I know, to me, there could be a lot of fear around this, but you have a lot of support. But part of this too, it is calling for you to make a decision about something like a crossroads. Like, you know, you can continue on the same path, but you could be fighting tooth and nail to stay on the same path, but the universe is like, no, this path is over, or this is a dead end. There's nothing here for you. There's so much more for you on this other path, and it's time for you to really focus on the new path. The King of Wands is your past. So this could be tied to a person, a relationship situation. This could be a dynamic with, it could be love. It could be a partner, spouse. It could be a father figure or a family member. But the past, this could also be you. I'm just going to say that. You maybe felt in the past like everything was fine and dandy. Maybe you had built this life that you thought was, what you were supposed to build, and everything was good and solid. And all of a sudden the foundation started to crack and all the issues started to come up. And you're like, where is this all of a sudden coming from? Like everything was fine. I built this. I've been making good money, whatever that means or looks like for you. But like all this chaos is going on around this. And I feel like you're just kind of like trying to almost hold on to the past and get yourself back to where you were. But all of this going on is because whatever this was not what you thought it was. And maybe it was a belief or narrative that you were sold. Like maybe you were sold by your parents. Like, oh, you got to get married and have kids, and you have to have this sort of job and this sort of house. And now it's all falling apart. So then we have your strengths. So interestingly, the Five of Swords isn't probably seen as a good card or a strength card. But I feel like your strength here is you have the skill set and the mental capacity to get through this and to succeed and to come out ahead, is how I'm reading this Five of Swords, because it's in the strength area for you. I feel like you have to be really tactical in however you deal with this change. Don't be too logical. It's more about tactic and strategic, and not getting so pulled into your fears or in the tangible. Part of it is this being able to balance between, again, your intuition, the guidance from your higher self, and also, the skills and abilities you've gained in this life, right? That are actually tangible. So we have this is the future card, the Eight of Wands. So I do feel like you're moving forward. You're kind of changing directions here. This could be an actual move for some of you, traveling. I'm also getting to far off places. That's kind of aligned with this vast vistas. There's something pulling you, calling you, that you're meant to be. And again, it may not be a physical location. It could be a new job, a new line of work, or just, even in relationships, it could be that you're being pulled to something different that's kind of aligned with more with who you are becoming. So I like this Eight of Wands here in the future. Fast movement. Things will move fast. So we kind of talked about these cards. I'll just explain. So the 7 card is like advice. The Page of Swords is your environment, and then this Ace of Swords is your hopes and fears. I do feel like your fear, there's definitely fear around speaking your truth. And the advice here too is to allow yourself to connect to your passions and your desires. You could be someone that represses that because you're like, well, it's not about me. I have to follow what I've been told, what the narrative is, how people tell me life should look. But there's something deep within you that you're really passionate about and really aligned with. And the advice is to go towards that. Go towards the things that inspire you, that, fuel your passion. And again, it's like there's resistance here, but I think we need to allow ourselves to finally, again, it's like the surrender into who you really are, not who you've created this image for yourself. Okay, and then the outcome is, I still feel like the outcome's a little hazy for you with the moon card. Things are still a little in the dark, but I also feel like that unconscious things are coming up finally to the surface, which is going to be really good for you. Let's see. I'm going to get one for the, clarify one for the moon. Yeah, Three of Swords. So this is like some deep, deep heartache, pain, trauma that I think this too, this whole change that's occurring in your life is triggering too, like this feeling of, for a lot of us, you know, we don't want to admit it, but sometimes change, you know, feels unsafe to us. We like the familiar. We like things to stay as they are because usually that's because we've had some trauma in the past tied to change. But I think you're afraid too that this change is going to be, there's going to be grief and sadness and heartache. It is tied to somebody here. So this could be something tied from the past to a father figure or an old relationship that didn't really, you know, it was almost like this person was someone and they turned out to be someone that you didn't know they were. It's almost like this, they were this mask. And this is very triggering right now. I do feel also this could be fears around you not having control over maybe money or your life and not having that solid, like, again, you may feel like actually losing control over, like, really, like maybe finances or, again, a marriage or a house or just the way your life looked. You built it up, right? You built up something that you felt was really strong and successful, but like this whole transformation is really causing you to also change what you're focusing on, like what's important. And I think before it might have been more physical stuff like money and like things like that. And I'm just going to get one for the Eight of Wands here. Are these all? Geez, we have some reversals going on here. So this is the future. I think this is too, is like getting out of your head. The King of Swords. Needing to control things and have this like, I think this is really speaking to you Tauruses out there that really need to know like where you're going. Like you have to know the end result. You have to have control of that and how you move towards that result. And now it's really asking you to just almost like just go with the flow and allow this to, you know, take you where you need to be. I think this was going to also ask you to collaborate with others or to accept help from other people, which is maybe not how you would usually work. You tend to want to take control and don't trust that people maybe can do things like you can. But this, with these two reversals, it's kind of like a resistance to working together with people as well. So this could be in a relationship, but it's going to ask you to work together in a new way for you to move and go through this change. Interesting. Okay. Well, Taurus, big stuff here. So I think November is going to be a little, you know, hairy in spots, but I think the overall message here is to surrender as long as you align with your truth. And allow yourself to kind of, a lot of stuff is going to come up for you, old stuff, as far as like emotional. And it's allowing yourself to actually finally feel this, accept that you're still maybe holding on to things from the past. And allow yourself to let go of the old image of what you thought life should look like, because it's really moving you towards something that's more expansive and freeing. Because this life, I felt, really was a burden and was stressful, and you felt like you had to control it to maintain it. And this new life is just, it's just going to be, I just feel this like relief and like this heavy weight off your shoulders. So yeah, I think that's going to be through the next couple months here. So, all right, Taurus. Well, you have a good November, and I will see you in the next reading.